You've been listening to The Hunting Quest. No matter how high-tech, highfalutin, lazy, or foo-foo America gets, we will never stop hunting and fishing. This is The Hunting Quest. The Hunting Quest. We take 1 hour of every week and talk about our favorite things in the world, hunting and fishing. You'll get tips and help on the fishing environment locally in the DMV area. Plus, we're going to have fun along the way. This is The Hunting Quest. And now your hosts, Mike Tippin and Mark Davis.
Well, hello. I guess we're live, right? Yes.
You always got to check. Never really know for sure.
Yeah. Check with Anna. She takes care of us.
So this is episode 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, episode 5.
Episode 5.
We didn't have episode 4 because we got quarantined, so I couldn't come in for episode 4.
Yeah, that
Unfortunately,
sucks.
that does happen.
I miss podcast day, man.
Yeah, no, it's really funny because it's something I get excited for now to do it. And then, of
Every
course,
Friday.
You
I'm
know,
excited.
It happens, and we fought the COVID thing for the last, 2-3 years, whatever it's been, and never got sick once. And now at the end of it, we wound up having to sit at home in quarantine. So
Dude,
at least that's it. I mean, I can't complain. We didn't really get sick. I mean,
I'm glad you're all right.
it
though.
wasn't, nobody got hospitalized or anything serious like that. So.
Well, to hear Anna talk, she didn't do so well with it. But
No, but I mean, in the consideration of some
Yeah.
people, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's been guys that have been, really, really bad that I've seen,
Absolutely.
hospitalized and
then
people
that long haul COVID crap.
died. People having the call for like 6 months and all that kind of crazy
horrible,
stuff. So.
horrible times.
Yeah,
But I'm glad
really-
you're okay.
Really can't complain too much.
Yeah, wouldn't do much good if you could, right?
What about you? What'd you do while we were not podcasting?
My wife's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get into a little bit more about that, what we did for her birthday. She doesn't like her birthday for some reason. And
I think after a while, you just don't,
you
you don't get excited about it
but
anymore.
she's never liked her birthday. So every year it's a challenge to help, for me to try to get her to like her birthday and do something really cool for her. So that's pretty slick.
It's just the older you get.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
not like you're buying gifts and you're super excited about something,
we don't
and
do
especially when
gifts.
you're married, it's like,
Yeah.
it's all the same money.
We don't do gifts. She
no big surprise.
She'll go buy whatever it is that she wants to go buy, and that's kind of the cool thing. So, but how was your week?
Okay, nothing special. Like I said, we didn't get to. So we were supposed to go out with a charter out of Ocean City again on the weekend, and of course that got canceled
screwed.
because of COVID. We were supposed to bow fish the week before that,
Yep.
and then it rained really bad, so the water was murky, so we didn't get to go bow fishing.
Right.
And then let's see, this year so far, I went shark fishing one time and we didn't catch anything, and then we went out to go to. I was gonna go muskie fishing again,
Right.
and then it didn't rain. So
Right.
one day it rains, it doesn't rain, then that got canceled. And it's just basically there's no fish, and they need to change the batteries in them or something. I don't know what's up with it. It's driving me crazy. So I don't know. Bad luck so far.
Right. Yeah.
This
I
year.
get it.
I wish it was.
Fishing's been rough for me this year too. I don't know. I mean, it's not enough time. There's not enough hours. So.
I do wish I had more time to do it, and I wish I had a better understanding of some of the area here. Because I didn't grow up here, so it's kind of hard for me to learn a lot of the fishing. But
Yeah. Only way you're gonna get it is put a line in the water.
yeah, we're getting better. But I can't complain too much. But
I know somebody who does know a lot about this area.
well, he seems to tell us that.
Right.
So we have today, who's coughing in the mic over there. That is John Millar or Millar, and he'll spell his name correctly. That's whatever.
Oh, you're terrible.
And he is part of a fishing club in the Northern Virginia area that I think has some kind of stretch into some other.
All right, say your name. Say your last name the right way.
Something. So go explain yourself there.
How long have I known Mark Davis? Like 3 years.
Something like that.
There's an N in Molnar.
So what did I call it?
You always call me John Molar.
Like molar. How about just molar? Like the tooth, like just John Molar.
Just call me John.
John, the
I'll
guy
answer
with
you.
the kayak guy. That's
He usually
what it
calls me other stuff too, but
Yeah,
that
that's
off.
true. That's true. No. So you
So the
are-
whole point of getting you on here today
yeah.
is for you to talk about your club or team or gang, whatever you like to call yourself. I don't really know. I know it's some kind of acronym. No, it's not an acronym. It's Bass Assassins.
yeah. So
By the way, I think it's
It's-
a killer name.
Killing Bass, assassinating
I think
them.
it's cool.
yeah, just it just kind of fell into my lap give you a little backstory on it. I'd say maybe about 3-4 years ago, about 5 of my knuckle dragger buddies and I went out fishing and didn't want to do the group chat thing. So one of the anglers had a Fish Angler app. So he said, hey, let's all log on to this thing. We'll be able to track our measurements, our weights, where we count the bass, depth, barometric pressure. The app gives you everything. So we all logged on to Fish Angler app. And
Well, you all weren't all on the same app, though, were you?
no, at the time I was using FishBrain,
Right.
which is it's a little bit of the lesser app of the two,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Well, that's okay. That's what people want to know. So
Yeah. So Fish Angler, in my opinion, much better, much more informative, easier to use. So that weekend we used the Fish Angler app, and it worked brilliantly. So we named the group Nova Bass Assassins. Just
What's NOVA stand for?
Northern Virginia initially. It doesn't anymore. So it was initially Northern Virginia Bass Assassins, Nova Bass Assassins. So this thing kind of grew like a weed. Within a month, we went from 5 members, 5 friends to 6 people to 100 within a month. And that's when I pulled a holy crap, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? And the next logical step was naming myself president of the group.
There you go.
So
There you go. Put somebody in charge.
gave myself a title. So over the next few months, it grew and grew. Made some great friends. Really good opportunity to bond through fishing, through our great sport. So at a certain point, I guess like any good business, you're going to surround yourself with smarter people than yourself, which I did. Got 2 guys in particular, Brian Jenkins, Clark Elmore. They reached out at a certain point, said, hey, why don't we do tournaments, weekend
That's cool.
tournaments? So we didn't want to put too many restrictions on the tournament, so we opened it up to bank fishermen, kayakers, bass boat, wherever you wanted to fish from. It was a largemouth tournament, all day, all night, Saturday, Sunday. And we started with a 5-bass stringer, and it's a point system. So we'd add extra points for largest bass, longest bass, and we initially added smallmouth. We took it out, we put it back in because not everyone has access to smallmouth.
There you go.
So we still have a category in there for largest smallmouth. That's extra bonus points. So the thing's grown, and we've got some tremendous anglers. I mean, if you look at our top
How many folks
5,
you got?
I'm sorry?
How many folks do you got?
So the group, I believe, is around 300. We have about 100 in our tournament page on Fish Angler. Of that 100, I mean, weekend to weekend, we probably have, 30, 35, 40 guys participate.
That's impressive.
And I say guys, we want to get more female anglers in.
Right.
My opinion, and I know my mom's watching, women can outfish men every day of the
Any
week.
day of the week and twice on Sundays, my friend.
We need more women in the sport.
Yeah. My wife destroys me every time.
I'm not going to fish with my mother because she'll embarrass me.
Right. Yeah.
She's that much better than me.
Get it.
But anyway, 30 to 35 guys that would participate. And at a certain point, we said, hey, we need sponsors. Reached out to Anna Davis.
Right.
And I said, Anna, can you basically give me stuff to give away to these guys so it's not coming out of pocket?
Right.
So started with one sponsor, David Guns and Gear. They've been with us from the start. Phenomenal business. Mark and Anna are great friends, great store.
They sponsor this podcast.
They do, yes. And at a certain point, we added another sponsor, then another sponsor, and another sponsor.
You can shout them. You can plug them too here if you want to.
Oh, yeah. And our newest sponsor, I promised my guys up in Maine that I would plug Hook'ems. That's our latest sponsor. They make soft baits. They make worms, split tails. Excellent company. We dropped a sponsor earlier in the year. That's another story for another podcast. We picked up Hook'ems, and they've been phenomenal.
That's a cool name. I like that.
Yeah, and 2 great guys.
Where in Maine? Do you know?
I don't.
That's okay.
This is live, right?
Yeah,
I
it
should
is.
know that. But,
Nah, that's all right.
but they sponsor us with baits every weekend to give away. Phenomenal company, and we couldn't be happier with them. We work with John Seacrest. He makes hand glide baits and wake baits,
Yeah.
handmade, beautiful baits.
I've heard his stuff is
Percival-
amazing.
Oh, that guy is so incredibly talented. Excellent angler, too. Percival Flag Company, they make our
there you
Grand
go.
Championship plaque. I'll show that a little bit later if we have time. And who am I missing here? I'm missing somebody important.
You get to it.
But, yeah, I'll remember him here in a second. But,
So y'all do overall, you kind of do the overall bass angling tournament style fishing,
yeah.
and you do longevity. It's not week to week. It's,
Yeah, so that's a great thing about our group. You can pop in and fish any weekend if you want. You can fish every weekend if you want. The points accumulate, and we have a season-ending grand championship.
oh, that's cool.
So it's great for that guy that maybe works some weekends, doesn't work others, that just wants to jump into a local tournament. You'll get to know the guys instantly. We've got a ton of personalities.
That's cool.
My God, we could do our own TV show with some of the personalities we've got. And but that's what I really like about the group. You could jump in, jump out whenever you want, but those points accumulate towards a grand championship. We have a season-ending grand champion
When's
prize.
your season in?
We're going to go for another I'd say we're going to go another 8 weeks or so.
Gotcha.
We don't have a definitive date, but it's usually the end of August.
Sure.
And we're a little late this year on getting a prize out to our 2021 grand champion, Dewey McMahon, speaking of personalities. And we're going to do a little dinner at Milo's Grill.
That's cool.
Milo's a fantastic place to eat. Chris Milo is one of our anglers in our group, so we're
Cool.
going to do
Where's that at? I've never been there. I've heard about it. I've just never been there.
yeah, Milo's is in McLean. Great steaks.
Really?
Chris is Greek. Excellent Greek food. That's if you're in the DC area, Milo's Grill is a place to go.
Cool.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good-
fine.
good stuff.
Milo's is a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been there too?
He's a good guy. Never been
Oh,
there,
okay.
but I mean, I can't say anything, bad. He's and to put that on there, that note, he has invited Anna and I a million times,
And you haven't taken
And
home
well,
on
it's tough with we're here till 9 o'clock on Fridays, and those other nights doing stuff. So it's really tough to get out there. But yeah, he's in McLean off Old Dominion Drive.
Okay.
Quick question though, you were just talking about Hook'ems, the
Yeah.
group. How do you spell that?
It's HOOKUMZ.
Okay, because when I put in like Hook'em, like however I spelled it, it was coming to some place in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So I thought if we're gonna go ahead and plug somebody, we might as well plug the correct place with the right spelling.
Yeah.
There you go.
In the fishing world, there's probably about 6,000 hook'ems, but
Right.
theirs
Yeah.
is with a Z.
This was
The only
Hook'em.
one that we care about is the one that's sponsoring you,
Hook'ems
right?
and Cook'ems kept
Yeah.
coming up, and it was like a fish restaurant. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not it.
and
not
it's
what
and
we're
it's
looking
hook'ems.com.
Oh, cool.
So,
Okay, good.
So coming up to the pretty much close to the end of the season, right? So that's
Yeah.
kind of what you're looking at.
yeah.
And you have a really, really cool, like a really cool kind of setup that's coming up. You've got tournament ending trophies and
Yeah.
really cool stuff like that. And I guess where I'm kind of looking at this, Mark's making a funny face.
I've got a ton of feedback on my mic. Go ahead. If you guys can't hear it, it's fine.
Yeah, I can't. But you can take your stuff off if you want. You can take your headphones
Let's
off.
just see if Anna can fix it. Go ahead. Keep talking. Go,
Hey,
go, go.
Just
So,
the headphones.
Yeah.
Don't
Hey,
take anything else off.
yeah.
Or I'm leaving.
So, so you have your end of year, and so, how much do you may or you may not, do you interact at all with like DWR at all, or because they're kind of doing their own thing with their Bass Slam? Do y'all participate with that, or is it something you've integrated with or not?
Not as of yet. I keep an eye on DWR, and no.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. We're constantly trying to grow the product.
Sure.
So I have some anglers in mind. We want to push them. I mean, some of our top guys shouldn't be in our group. I mean, they're amazing anglers,
Right.
and they're just
Really?
they're just above and beyond. So there's some guys that
They
We-
just kill it week in, week out.
oh yeah, phenomenal. And in my mind, I want to kind of push them to go above and beyond what we are, but still sponsor them
Sure.
and have them go out and represent us. We've got one guy, Joshua Keith is our our guy that's in first right now, and he's just amazing,
Yeah.
phenomenal angler. So we're going to try to get guys like that into KBF tournaments,
Right.
sponsor them, and still carry that Nova Bass Assassins name
Sure.
along with them. Chad Wazowski's another guy who's just a phenomenal angler. So we want to keep what we've got, but also grow guys into bigger and better things.
Sure. So do you also do kind of some of the other things like do you look at like younger, do you take like kids out to go fishing, or do you do you kind of look like we do some stuff with ODU and
Yeah.
their fishing team and things like that. So is that something that y'all are looking forward to, or is it
Yeah.
Take a kid fishing, let them enjoy it type deal, or
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I follow ODU fishing too.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Good group.
Those kids are killing it this year too. So.
Yes, absolutely. Got some local guys on the team there. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. We'd along with incorporating females in our group, we need more females. We want to get the next generation of bass fishermen. That's basically what our sport's all about,
Yeah.
pulling the next generation into the sport.
For sure.
So we've talked about having kids tournaments or bring your kids along,
Yeah.
tournament type deal. A lot of guys do that
Awesome.
anyway. But
Give
yeah,
them some incentive to be out there, right?
absolutely. In the future, we definitely want to pull the next generation of bass fishermen up with us and show us how much fun it can be.
I think it's awesome.
There are quite a few local tournaments with the kids.
Are there?
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time trying to get involved in that, and it's a little tricky.
Oh, sure.
Because there's time deadlines and things like that to try to get involved. And by the time you hear about them, sometimes you're like, "Oh, hey, I'd like to help." They're like, "Oh, it's tomorrow."
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough. Now I know that they do one in Franklin Park. They do one over in Winchester. There's whatever college that is in Winchester.
Oh yeah, the one right off of 81.
There is a man-made pond they have there.
Okay.
And they stock it with trout beforehand, and
Oh,
then
cool.
it's a state, or yeah, it must be a state done tournament, and
slick.
they do a couple different ones. So there's some stuff around that does it. I've tried to really be proactive in that.
Yeah.
But it is I mean, even if it's just giving away a bunch of fishing stuff,
Right.
so at the end of the day, kids can pick numbers off of tables. I mean,
Yeah, they have
I
a good time.
remember as a kid in elementary school doing fish tournaments.
Yeah.
And you walked around the lake and you threw the rod in there and you catch whatever.
If
There
you
was
catch something, you catch something.
the largest fish was a trophy. The most
Right.
fish was a trophy. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you got a trophy, and then if there was like 100 kids, they gave it. I thought it was kind of neat. They gave every kid a number.
Right.
And then they would just draw random numbers, and you could pick something off a table, and it was like a whole bunch of stuff on the table.
Oh,
like
that's
fishing
slick.
stuff.
That's
So
really cool.
everybody got something.
Right.
If you won, obviously you got a trophy.
Yeah.
But if you didn't win, you got to take some kind of fishing thing home, which
cool.
was kind of cool like that. T-shirts and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was neat. I think that it's really important
Oh,
to
yeah.
do that stuff with the
Yeah,
kids.
we have to.
Well, and you got to remember too is that as much as I've said before, like my father took me fishing, and he by no means was really really into it, but enough to teach me how
Right.
to do it. There's a lot of people's parents who don't do it at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're never going to have that opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And if they don't have an organized event,
Yeah.
and that's even something I've wondered too, to be completely honest with you, is what would stop us from, doing a tournament ourselves.
Yeah. Have you read? So shameless plug here, but I just got finished reading Steve Rinella's outside raising outside kids in the indoor world.
So really quick,
Yeah.
so just so people know, you're referring to him as the dude that has the meat eater show.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That way we're the same. People are like, who are they talking about? 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of times you say the name, people have no idea
yeah,
who it is.
sorry.
But if you do say it's the
Yeah.
guy with that show, for those who
So
are talking about.
his book, Outdoor Kids in an Indoor World, that's one of the focuses, and it's phenomenal. I'm not going to give anything away. I think it's a fantastic read. People should definitely go take spend the money, support him, buy the book, go read it. It's truly, worth the read. He did a good job with that, and he's so well written to begin with. It's not like it's the first time he ever wrote a book. So,
Well, it was like we talked before about his
yeah,
format.
yeah,
So he's developed a format for his shows and for
Yep.
his writing and the way he does.
Yeah.
And he had his writing is very,
I call it readable.
it's very field and streamish.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very descriptive.
Well,
it's very good. It's
that's
nice.
how he got his start,
And that's how it
so-
becomes. And
yeah.
then his show
Yeah.
became that follow through that everyone mimics his show now. So
Absolutely.
you see where it gets kind of, and I'll even say it, so it's kind of like, okay, come on now, it's all, oh, it's so beautiful and great,
Yeah.
but he started that program,
Oh, yeah.
and now everybody else follows that way that
Absolutely.
he does it.
Well,
And
it works,
it's,
but-
it's really well it
Yeah,
works.
but the only thing that I won't ever discredit him on, but something that makes it look easy sometimes, right? And if you're gonna hunt or you're gonna fish, it's painful. It should be painful.
Do you remember the shows on Sunday morning where the guys would work on cars?
Oh yeah.
And they would say, "Oh, today we're going to take this truck and it's a
Oh, yeah.
1983 and we're going to put a 5-inch lift on it." And they would get into the truck and everything would just come
Yeah,
apart.
45
and it would
minutes
go right
later,
back
everything
together,
just- yeah.
and everything bolts together
It
fine. And it
never
drove
works
off.
that
and
way.
There was no dirt or anything.
Right, yeah.
It's one of those kind of things. I think
Yeah.
in the same hand, I think there's a place in the world for a more realistic content.
Oh yeah, but I will tell you, his content is amazing though. I mean, I think he does a good job of putting the struggle out there. I think he does a good job of putting things out and making sure that it's well documented. Sometimes, and really, the only drawback that I have on any of it, I can't criticize the guy. It's just that sometimes he just makes it look easy, and it's for him maybe it is, but for me, hunting public ground or fishing on high pressured areas or something like that, it's never easy.
Well, I think the first episode I ever saw that was they were there in the Keys.
Oh yeah.
And if you've been down there, you know, and you watch it, and you go, "This is pretty much what it's like." You
Yeah.
go down there, and and he was cooking everything and eating it, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." And that's how I wound up watching the show. I'm not really even knowing much about it. I was kind of a late one to it, but,
Right.
He's a great format. But
Yeah, he's got it right together. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
what were we talking about?
By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
I see the beard.
kid.
I'm going to say something.
Well, so I cut my hair and I didn't cut the beard because I've been cutting the beard really a lot. And I was looking at myself in the camera last time, and you could like see right through it. I didn't realize how short I was cutting it, so I've been getting it a little longer.
coming
so
in.
It's weird. I've been having to like comb it out. I don't know. It's see like his you can kind of see through it,
Yeah,
and that's where mine had like that part.
There's a little more snow on the roof.
I got
beard.
I got some hair.
I'm the same way.
I kind of hit a wall about 2 years ago where all the white started coming in. So it's coming.
Yeah.
But to close, what I would say though about the kids, I think that I would love to be more involved with the kids, in whatever way is possible. But
I can figure that one out. I mean, I'm sure we.
Well, it's
we
tricky
can do it.
too. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, we're in a generation where they don't care. You know, I mean, that you're
Some of 'em
struggling
did.
to get them. That's what I'm
Some of 'em
saying.
did, but
You don't
yeah,
have as
few
many.
and far
You know
between.
what I mean? Whereas before, if you'd put that out, kids would be coming from everywhere. And I see it in the store, and it's sad
Yeah.
sometimes to watch it. You just don't have that many kids
It's tough.
that are that excited about it, like I would have been. You know,
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
I would have killed for some of the opportunities that we had, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't always work out. But
different kids, right?
I think
different
that's
world.
But also too, if you've never done any of it, then
Yeah.
you're never going to appreciate it.
Right.
And I think that's part of it.
Yeah, we have a guy in our group, Eric Meyerson, who does a lot of work with kids and trying to pull the next gen up to fishing.
Really?
Yeah, and it just bothers me that I haven't done a tournament yet, which is more kid specific.
It's hard, though. It's hard.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched ICAST too, but they talked a lot about that. And there was one angler in particular, or one salesman, who's made a rod for autistic children.
Yeah, I heard about
I don't know
that.
if you- yeah.
I didn't get to see it yet, so
Yeah, phenomenal.
I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah, but there's a guy, perfect example of a
Yeah.
guy who's trying to pull that
whole nother
particular
group of people.
Yeah, with a friendly version of a rod and reel
Right.
for autistic kids to get into the
That's
sport,
killer.
which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that is killer. Good on him. I'd heard about it,
Yeah.
and I'd watched a little bit of ICAST here and there, but I really didn't have a lot of time to, kind of pay attention to it. I've had a lot going on, so
Yeah.
But I'd heard about the reel, and
Yeah, it's like a closed-in reel, so it's
Yeah.
user friendly and
yeah,
great
Someone
opportunity.
just brought up a point to me, and I never thought of this since he just said it. I guess he's watching, and he said, kids a lot of times don't go outside and fish and stuff anymore because there's so many people that will call the police and things when people are like fishing in ponds and all that kind of stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you
And
see
they're
it on YouTube.
And I
Yeah.
just thought about there is a lot of pressure that nowadays. Like you've got a lot of people
the
that-
Karens of the world, right?
that are all crazy about that. And I've seen some of those videos where people are like coming up and yanking fish off the lines. What are you
Yeah.
doing? You can't kill these fish and this kind of stuff. I never thought about the impact, and the person that
Oh, yeah.
sent that to me was law enforcement.
I didn't think about
And
it.
he just
but
said
yeah.
to me, "That's part of the problem." And I just thought, I never thought of it like that. But
Yeah, I've never even. It's never
I
crossed my
never
mind.
even thought
It's a
like,
great-
that is probably a
Yeah.
big thing. Like, if you went and were fishing in some pond and people didn't like it, it's not anymore where people go, oh, they're fishing, what do I care? Everybody's got to be in people's business. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Oh, yeah.
But I did think it was an
Absolutely.
interesting comment.
That's a good
that he-
call.
that he just
Yeah,
made.
whoever that was, appreciate it.
So, yeah, no, I don't know. But,
So, talking about fishing though,
well, here's my question really quick.
yeah.
John, as far as about your club or whatever, how would anybody that's interested in joining or getting involved in your little, I don't call them little tournaments, that sounds mean, your online tournaments or whatever they're called, how would they,
How do you get involved
how do
with
you get
Nova
involved
Bass
in that?
Assessment? And you got to finish. What does Nova now stand for? Because you started it, you didn't finish it.
He's still trying to make it
Yeah,
up.
so I'll start with that first. So Nova was more Northern Virginia specific. Everybody here calls everything Nova.
Right. Yeah.
So at a certain point, again, my brain trust, Clark Elmore, Brian Jenkins said, hey, this isn't about Northern Virginia anglers anymore. Let's make this more of a United States type of thing because we
Right.
got anglers from all over the U.S. now. It's growing out of control. It's we got guys in Texas like Clark. We've got guys in Oklahoma, Florida, Maryland. You name a state, we've got an angler from there now. So
That's cool.
we just changed Nova Northern Virginia to Nova, one word, capitalized letters.
That's it.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
But how to sign up? So everyone's got a smartphone. You download that Fish Angler app. Fish Angler is one word. Once you go on there, create a profile. You could search all the groups in Virginia, which we're still based here in beautiful Purcellville, Virginia.
Sure.
Or just look up Nova. It'll pop up. You'll see Nova Bass Assassins and Nova Bass Assassins tournaments.
Right.
So the first thing you want to do is you create your profile. You request membership to Nova Bass Assassins. It's all completely free, and you're automatically accepted.
Okay.
I don't even think I have to do anything.
Cool.
Then if you want to join our tournaments, which I highly recommend, that's free as well. You request membership with the tournaments, and I'll go in there and approve you, hopefully sooner than later, and you're off and running.
Right. And there's still time to jump in. I mean, even if you're
Absolutely.
coming to the end of the season, but you can still come have a good time.
I
Right?
mean, shoot, if somebody comes in the last weekend of the year,
You're gonna tag 'em.
that's perfect.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll take them. And basically, all you need is a measuring device. We're not too particular about that.
Right.
Some of these bass groups want a specific mount board or whatever. As long as you can accurately portray that fish and measure it online, that's fine. We just request a picture of.
You're not too big for your britches, then, basically, is what you're saying.
No, man, I got a big ego, but I got to keep it under control.
It's got to be fun,
Yeah.
right? So I get you.
But get that accurate picture of your bass.
Right.
Some guys are using tape measures.
Cool.
They're getting off work from laying 2x4s all day, and they're
Right.
taking pictures
That's
of
what
bass.
you got,
with
right?
A tape measure. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you get a full picture of the bass measured, get a picture of the bass with you, and get a picture of the bass weighed. Doesn't matter what kind of scale you got. It could be cheap. It could be digital. It could be whatever.
Whatever you got.
As long as you got a picture of that bass on that measuring device, and I can accurately see that weight in
Right.
the picture, you're good to go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'll need to sign up. So
Yeah, I was going to ask why you guys aren't signed up.
honestly,
Mark.
Me in particular?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, he
I'm calling
called
you
you
out.
So the problem becomes is that
Live.
no. But it's a really, really, really serious issue that I have. So being that we do sponsor it, for me to win everything becomes a conflict of interest. So I know that immediately people are going to go, "It's amazing he's winning because you sponsor something," and it's a problem that I've run into my whole life. Being
Jesus.
so perfect at everything at all that it's that I don't know.
you can start rolling up your pants legs because
Yeah,
it's getting deep in
in
here.
here. Better sit up a little bit.
Yeah, no. So that's been part of the problem. But I mean, other than just being better than everyone, no, that's probably.
I honestly, I when I met you was the first time I found out about it. So
Yeah.
If I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to make sure I got the time. I just haven't had the time, so I'll make
Yeah.
sure I do that. I'll
Yeah.
do it, after this podcast and get signed up and get ready to go.
And Anna, too. Anna Davis sitting
yeah.
to my left.
Yeah,
Well, unfortunately, we don't
Her signed
Anna.
up.
we don't get to fish a lot of like public places too often, and when we do, I fish a lot of like private places and things like that. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it'd also be nice if I had time to fish.
right.
And then we get all these different charters and stuff, and they cancel on us. So a lot of times we just sit around and canceling while other people are going fishing. It's
I had a
just-
charter that did not cancel on me.
So, you
Like
know-
you had COVID, so
Oh no, you did have the same person did cancel on you before.
Oh, that's he didn't
See,
yeah,
so
he
things
can't-
cancel. See, everybody cancels. If Mark's going, they cancel.
Right.
If Mark's not going, then it doesn't get canceled. That's the way of the world. So, all right. So that's it for John's how to join. Right. That's it. You just figured out.
Yeah, I think I covered everything.
Right.
Well, you got something over in the corner. Do you want to show that now or show
Oh,
it later?
Yeah.
So I think you should show that because personally, I think that is freaking badass. I
Yeah,
I think
so-
that is amazing.
I've given, I don't know, 2 or 3 shameless plugs, about to do another one. So our sponsor that we picked up this year as well is Percival Flag Company.
Yeah.
Jason and his wife do a phenomenal job. They make the handmade U.S. flags
Right.
and other types of flags as well. But we've got one in our house, a personally owned flag that we absolutely love and cherish. But Jason's kicked butt and took names with this company. He quit his real job and he does
heard.
this full time. And what a great company! I mean, it's an American story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So reached out to Jason, asked if he wanted to do a sponsorship. He was more than willing. I told him that I wanted a season-ending championship prize
Right.
for our anglers. So he made this. This is a. Let me get back here a little bit. So this is Dewey McMahon's prize for 2021. We're going to be giving this to Dewey on August 5th, and I'm going to show it. Yeah, we're going to be giving it to him on August 5th, and he was our 2021 grand champion. So here's the flag right here.
That is badass.
Yeah.
I am. I got to go talk to him and get a flag. That's just cool.
Yeah.
And that's Dewey. I don't know you, but I can tell you, that would be freaking cool to put up in your house
Can I
or
tell-
wherever you put it.
Can I tell a Dewey story real quick? Do I still have time?
Sure.
Okay. I got.
So to make it interesting.
Okay. Well, it's funny you say that because you guys remember those I think it's Dos Equis beer commercials.
Yeah, the
and
most
the world's
interesting
mo-
man in the world.
I'm not kidding here. Loosely based on the life and times of Dewey McMahon. I wouldn't lie about something like this, but he is the personality of our group. He's our backbone. Phenomenal guy.
Right.
I could care less if he catches one more fish in our tournaments.
It looks like he caught enough to get him a flag. So.
Yeah. Oh, he just crushed it last year. But yeah, that's my story. That character in those commercials,
That's
loosely
him, huh?
based on
We'll have to
Dewey
get him
McMahon.
in. We have to meet him. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
He's always buying fishing rods.
Is he?
Yeah, we mail them out to him.
highly supportive of you guys. He loves Davis Guns and Gear.
Where's he at?
He's always
Is he
talking
here?
to you.
He's a Maryland guy, but we still like him just as much as our Virginia anglers in other states. Maryland's a little bit of a wacky state. I don't mind saying that on live
No,
TV.
that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody disagrees with
But
you.
Dewey's up in Maryland. An interesting story about Dewey, he picks his spots to fish with Google Maps.
Yeah.
Now, we have our spots here where we know there's big bass.
Yeah.
Dewey will go onto Google Maps
Yeah.
and find where he's going to fish. And he generally fishes a lot of different fisheries. He fishes a different fishery just about every weekend.
That's cool.
So he's not going to, it's a lot tougher when you're fishing a body of water that you don't know anything about.
Yep.
Well, that's Dewey McMahon.
That's cool.
And Dewey kicks butt and takes names.
That's cool.
Well, did I ever tell you about my theory, my podcast, my other show I wanted to do? Did I ever
boy.
tell you about this?
Obviously not.
Did I
You're
not-
asking me?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. No.
No.
So my my idea was, somebody's gonna take it, get rich off it, but I don't really feel like I'm in jail. So I was gonna call it outlaw fishing.
Oh Jesus, no.
And what I was gonna do was I was gonna drive around, okay,
Right.
and I was gonna have a camera. I don't know, somehow I figured out the whole camera part of it. And even when you're driving and you see a pond somewhere and it's in somebody's yard or it's a
Right.
farm, and you're like, man, I really want to. I was just gonna start fishing that stuff. And then I was gonna say, if someone came, I was just gonna run away. That was the whole thing. It was outlaw fishing, and they'd be like, run up and then fish real fast, and then catch fish, don't catch fish, and then the farmer's like, you run away, just get in the car, and drive off. And that was gonna be my whole show. But then I thought, eventually, I'm gonna get in trouble. So it probably
So
wouldn't be
I
that
can tell
great.
you how that would end in like Kansas and Missouri.
Well, we're not going to
Yeah,
Kansas.
because they would shoot first, and there wouldn't be any running.
I can think of 3 anglers right now that do that, and their names are Jared, Hunter, and Riley. So farm ponds in Northern Virginia, watch out for those 3 because it's happening. It's going down.
I have fished some really. I've been. I can't say where, but I have been very, very blessed to get to fish in places that people have never fished.
Yeah.
And I mean some incredible places.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you where you're going, and the average is 5 pounds.
Jesus.
And you're just pulling 5-pound bass at a 5-pound bass at a 5-pound bass, and I'm getting spooled. Like I literally got like almost. I didn't get spooled all the way, but damn, he just started screaming. Line just peeling off, and then I lose it, and I was like, man, how big was that fish?
Oh, yeah.
And the only time I saw the mouth roll, of course, my camera's off, but it was like tremendous. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I think God knows how big it is. So
Yeah. So speaking of Google Maps, using Google Maps to fish with and find place out in Kansas, Kansas and Missouri, where I hunt and fish.
Yeah.
That's exactly how. If it's like, we have our ponds on our property, but we go everywhere else, and we'll sit there and kind of do our own thing, find Google Maps, and then go knock on the door. Hey, you got a cow pond. You mind if we go fishing? It's pretty cool.
And I tell you, if you use Google Earth, you can also see. I mean, that's a great tool. You can see structure. You can see depth.
Yes, you can.
So, I mean, if you go and look at Sleater Lake right now on Google Earth,
Yeah.
you could pretty much see where all the ledges are. You could see actually structure in the water. You could see stumps. So, I mean, for anybody that's not using it, why not? It's an extra tool for the toolbox.
Absolutely.
that's how they found a bunch of dead people that way.
Oh, in DC, no
Cars
doubt.
that drove into ponds that they didn't know cars drove in,
No way.
and then swear to God, Google it, and they'll they'll go through and they'll Google Earth will update,
Right.
and someone will be looking at the picture, they'll be like, oh, there's a square in there, like, oh, it's a car, and they'll go, and sure enough, the person's been,
Okay.
a lot of people drive off the road and they never find their cars, and they find them like years later. There's all kinds of shows on YouTube
you know about this?
where guys dive and they dive in places looking for where they think cars ran off, like people were missing. And they're like, "Oh, that looks like
Is that what
a
happened to
car
Jimmy
drove
Hoffa?
off." I could have been. I don't. Who knows? This is a true story. You should Google it. It's crazy. So, before we get to the tangent about scuba diving for cars and
Right.
more of John's stories, so we have been talking about gear and equipment, and we're trying to get back to the point of explaining some of it.
Yeah.
So, is my camera on over here, Anna? She's supposed to acknowledge and go yes, because she hasn't talked at all this whole time. Yet.
That's okay. She don't want to.
So, what I've got here is two different reels that I use. I had them both on rods, but it's kind of small in this cramped room, so I cut this one off. They're both Abu Garcias. I like Abu Garcia stuff. I think it's good quality stuff. And yet again, I think that there's plenty of brands that have nice stuff as well. Price point is going to get you what it gets you.
Right.
Sometimes you are going to pay sometimes for brands and names, but you do kind of, there's Shimano's and stuff that are equivalent and so on and so forth. It just depends on what range you're in. I would call these more of mid-range. These aren't really, really high. These aren't $600 a piece.
Right.
They're probably more to the $200 to $300 a piece units. Both low profile bait casters.
Right.
So that's what you're going to, conventionally see around here. A lot of guys use them for bass. They're both Revos, which is a model. This one here is just the Revo STX, which is, I don't know if it's the newest Revo, but it's up there closer to them. Incredibly strong reel. So
Yeah.
the max drag on that is really, really high. It's like 24 pounds.
Gotcha.
So for a reel
That's
that's
insane.
small, it's quite insane.
That's
yeah.
tiny.
And this one's the same. So these are the same reel, but this is the Ike Alley edition.
Yeah.
So it's a
Those
Revo
things are
Ike.
so cool.
So it's got that cool purple color to it.
The thing is gorgeous.
It
It's
is.
got the
It is
bigger-
so nice.
The bigger handle on it. Whereas if you look, they are identical other than that.
Hey, why don't you tell people where you got that really cool looking Mike Iaconelli?
I got it from Davis Guns and Gear.
Right.
It's a store in person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It actually took a long time to
I
get
want
it.
one.
I do too.
Yeah, they were tough to get. They're starting to come back a little bit more, but they're not the easiest thing in the world to find. But these are the two that I use for the most part. They're both high speed. They're both eight
Okay.
to 1.
8 to 1.
And for anybody that knows, it's 8
For every
0,
one turn,
1.
you get 8.
So
spools on the reel.
on the reel itself. So every time we crank this cranks 8 times. That is a faster speed. There are some speeds that I think are faster. I think there's some 10s and things like
Yeah,
that.
but
this is
nothing we'll ever be using around here.
no. This is super quick. I find that anything under like an 8, you're
Right.
not going to be able to run like top water with. You know,
Ah, you
You're gonna
can.
wanna
I run a
frogs
6 and a 7.
correctly. You're probably going to want a high speed. Just to keep that frog up if you want to run it, especially too if you're running like a buzzbait,
Right.
Or like the paddle tails.
Right.
Sometimes you want to be
Yeah,
able
I
to
get
get
it.
that fast speed going.
I'm not gonna lie.
Get it
I
on a
get
plane.
it. I still use a 6 or a 7. Or I like 7s. That's like my home. So
I think it goes back to the conversation I've had before with a lot of people is that if you get a medium heavy rod with like a fast action,
yeah,
and then you did a reel that was, mid-range speed,
Yeah.
you could pretty much do everything you need
Sure.
to do.
That's a
around here.
workhorse.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
really your core window, and I stay kind of close to that. I mean, I'm mostly what I have is medium heavy fast, or
Right.
I'll have medium heavy extra fast, and the
got
extra fast I tend to use more for the top water. It gets a little more of that stiffness to it, and I tend to get a little more length. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I'm there. I don't tend to use too many lures that are going to want a smaller rod or
Right.
a lighter rod, because at that point I can't cast with a bait caster. It's becoming very difficult. And then we're getting back to the point where we're targeting really small fish.
Right.
That's fun in its time, but I don't want my setups to be set up to target small fish.
I
I
get
want to
you.
go after bigger
Yeah,
stuff.
that makes sense.
I mean, most of what I'm going to throw is going to be larger. And when we look at like for example, we'll talk about like what I throw a lot of. And I'm not like most people. So most people will throw all kinds of weird stuff, but I throw a lot of. That was loud.
That was.
A lot of bass spinners.
You like showing off your spinners, don't you?
So I like that box. That box just looks really cool.
It's pretty sick.
So, they've got some weight to them. They're easy to have, chuck out there. The faster speed's nice because you can easily run them fast if you want to
Right.
run them fast. If you don't want to run them fast, you don't have to run them fast. I tend to run those a lot. And then the other thing, too, is that I also use a lot of, and nobody does anymore, I'm going to be the only person, I run a lot of inline spinners.
I like inlines.
So just big traditional like MEPS, but of large size.
Those things are studs, man.
Oh,
Good
well,
Lord.
they're tremendous.
I mean, what are the ounces on that thing? It's got to be like a pound almost.
Well, they're really light for what they are in general. But I mean, this isn't even a size. This is a Magnum. It's a musky one, and I mean, so you get. I mean, here's some of the bigger musky ones.
It's insane. I'd get like 5 casts and be done for the day, man.
They're easy to run, and what's nice about these two is when they fail, they're easy to tell.
Yeah.
So when you're cranking it in and it's spinning, if it stops spinning, you can feel it really
Right, yeah,
easily.
yeah,
It's not prone to tangle.
Right.
When you get to this size of treble hooks.
Yeah, but you can't throw it on those little STXs, can you?
Oh, so okay, so really quick, we did kind of step up a little bit. Actually, can you hand me that rod's going to be tough. If you actually take that pair of scissors right there,
There's no way you're getting that.
I'm not. Hey, take these scissors real quick, and cut the leader.
Oh, I can pass it around.
No, you can't. You're cocoa wire. Stop. Stop.
And,
Stop
and
trying
this
to-
is what live TV does, or live stuff does. So,
This is why I told you can't pass. Lord.
oh boy,
Oh, it's on my mic.
if you all could see this right now, I promise it would totally be worth it.
This whole
Unrehearsed.
Unrehearsed, but so
We got through it.
This rod's an 8.6.
oh, good God, man! So that's that is strictly for muskie. I mean, like strictly for muskie.
You maybe surf fish with it.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking no. I'm thinking that's just strictly muskie.
So this setup is made for muskie.
There's no way. That thing is insane. You doing? Oh, here we go. We're gonna get stuff all over the place. There you go. There he goes. There's the leader. There's the line. Now he's gonna take it off the reel so you can see it. That's pretty slick. It's nice of you to cut your line.
Well, the leader's still in there.
Yeah. All right.
So if I had to cut the leader off, it might have been a little sadder. Because I make really nice knots.
Yeah, I don't. We're supposed to talk about that at some point, but
So this is another Abu Garcia. This is what your traditional ambassador reels are called. So this
Gotcha.
is, instead of being a low profile where it sits down the reel, it sits on top of the reel.
yeah.
So it's higher up. So
Yeah, I
that's kind
gotcha.
of where
I see.
the difference comes from term-wise.
Yeah.
The difference is this thing is just massive. It's much, much bigger. It's much, much wider. It holds a lot more line on it. I don't remember exactly how much line it holds, but it does
You
hold a
got
lot.
some. Yeah, I mean that braid on there. What is that braid? Like
100 pound.
100? Yeah.
So it's 100 pound. Now, obviously, it's 100 pound, and then I think the leader is actually a little bit less just because it's what I had. You would think it would be more, but it just happens to be.
It's only going to be as strong as the knot.
So, and that's true too. So the killer with this is that when you're out there throwing the musky stuff, you're casting very, 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 very heavy.
I know.
Stuff.
That's why.
So
it's a lot of work.
You know, like a pound, half pound. Lures.
That's a lot of work.
So when you're chucking them, having that 100-pound line, if you screw up or you do something, it doesn't snap your line and lose your lure.
Yeah, no.
So that's what's kind of nice about that. Like I said, it's the reel is a way.
John, do you fish with something like that big?
No, I do not. But I do want to mention that when I tie a leader, my knot tying abilities stink.
Yeah,
They're
mine do
much
too.
inferior to Mark. So I think he
insane.
should do a show just on his ability to tie a leader because
Yeah,
I
we're
need,
gonna.
I need
talked
to
about
watch
that.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna
Well,
do
the
a video.
killer about that is that it's so hard to show. Like you can't tell that, but there's like 20 loops in there.
No, you can see it.
So I mean, can you? I can't.
I
I
can.
mean, I don't know if you can tell the camera, but that's a leader straight too. But this is yet again. It's just another Abu Garcia. But if you look, I mean, this is just beefy. Like there's no crossbars. This is all one solid aluminum piece. It holds. I think this thing's like 300 yards.
It's insane.
Is on there. 100
It's got
pound
the muskie
test.
on it.
It does. It
It's
has
a beast.
It has the muskie on the side.
Those are cool rods.
Yeah,
They're cool reels. Sorry.
muskies on that side too. It's oversized handles, and you just take it out there and you just chuck it out there all day and fish with
For
it.
your
reel it back
paws,
in.
right?
Yeah,
not dainty little hands like I have, right?
So actually, the big difference too, in a lot of these that people have issues with, is if you're used to running a bait caster, and don't get me wrong, they make bait casters in
Yeah.
these larger sizes. I just find if I'm going to go ahead and do it, I'd rather have it's on the top and rather have it round.
I got you.
So with your bait casters, you've got your button in the back, and you push it and reel it in.
Right.
These it's on the side.
Yeah.
They make some that's in the back too, but I mean, for the most part, they're on the side. So that's
Yeah.
something that's different about it. But I mean, you got your tension on one side, tension on the other side. It's the same kind of stuff. But I find that, musky wise, you just want a really strong, heavy rod. Like
Right.
8 foot plus rod's really
Sure.
good. I run a Legends Musky Elite or something
Yeah.
like that. It's a St. Croix. All my rods are St. Croix. These are both.
All my rods are St. Croix too.
Both of these are Mojo Bass. Most of yours are St. Croix now, isn't it?
Yeah, they
I
are.
mean, they're slowly, once you get a couple of them. it's
American
like,
made, you
Yeah.
cannot beat St. Croix.
Yeah, the only one that I don't is I got a Mach, one of the Mach 2 Lose.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good rod.
Lose
reel.
is good stuff,
I'm a fan, but you still can't beat that St. Croix.
Yeah.
I'm totally sold. So
Yeah, I would say most of my routes. I mean, there's a couple left that aren't. That, I have
Yeah.
from other things, but for the most part, and they make everything. I mean,
Yeah.
everything from surf rods to this stuff to everything that you could ever need. And Abu Garcia is really good. I find for the price
Sure.
for the money. This was an expensive reel. I don't remember what the dollar amount on this one is.
Right.
I want to say this was probably around $500.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you
That's
can
what
find
I've
it.
seen.
That was a
most of-
birthday gift, so you're not supposed to know how much it was.
But I
She speaks.
but I still.
And my birthday is April 26th.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah, mine's the 28th.
I like that color too, Anna.
So they actually, I just saw that they have. So this is another bad part about Abu Garcia reels. So there's American ones,
Right.
and there's non-American ones.
Sure.
Well, I mean for the American market, some are made in China and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so like this one is an actual. I believe this one is a Swedish made one. Yes, it says made in Sweden on the side.
Really?
Yeah, so if you actually look, it's stamped on the side of it. It's hard to tell with the paint.
So they went from making watches to making
Oh yeah. So Abu
Reels.
Garcia was always a Swiss company.
right.
And they made really, really nice reels, and most of them you'll see they have it on their ambassador, the round ones.
Right.
You'll tell because the emblem is an actual emblem 3D on it.
Oh, that's cool.
If you look and you go to like Walmart and they have like a ambassador, you'll see there's an indent and it's painted on there. It's like a sticker.
Okay.
So those are the Chinese-made version.
I got you. The
So there's a
knockoffs.
bunch of different cheap versions and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But what's really neat is that they make ones for different markets.
Yeah.
So there's like only Swiss ones and only American ones, and people collect these things and
Imagine.
pay crazy.
I
money.
imagine.
So I just found this reel that I had never seen in dark green.
Yeah, you showed that to me.
I just
That's
before we
pretty
started,
sick.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want it because nobody else has one. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's neat. The other thing too that you'll find in a conventional reel like this, I call it this. People call it a round bait caster, but conventional would also be a kind of a way to explain it. But it also has an audible clicker on it too.
Okay.
So that's kind of nice if you wanted to sit and
Yeah, if you're
bait
just
fish.
sitting there, you can hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, the idea is like if you were live line,
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah,
you could sit out
absolutely.
there. That's why you'll see a lot of guys use not necessarily this style of the actual ambassador, but they'll use ones that have clickers for catfishing
Sure.
and carp fishing. So
Yeah.
just throw it out, let it sit, and once it starts going, they'll take it out there. So it always used to confuse me. People used to call these alarms.
Yeah.
I was like, is this some new technology? Is this going to make like an alarm noise? Like it's going to light up? And I was like, oh, I'm like flicking the button, waiting for it to do something, and it doesn't do it. But I mean, but in the end, they're all very similar. I mean, there's like I said, tension on each side. Your drag stars there. You know, your level lines here, and then the same thing. I mean, a low profile, just the gear.
And you said that's a Mike Iaconelli?
Yeah, so this is a Revo. They call it a Revo Ike, but it's the same thing. It's a Revo STX. But instead, it's in this cool
Sick color.
purple color. You know what I mean? They did a good job with it. It's
Matches with that Mojo.
it does. The Mojo has that bit of purple tint to it.
I'm so sick now on the fact that, I've never had to have fishing rods match with fishing reels.
Oh, I'm terrible with that. Mine have to match. And by the way, that Iaconelli reel, that's the same color scheme as his truck and boat. Where when he came out with that.
Oh, no kidding.
So this dude's matching his truck, his boat, and his rods to his reel.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
That's when you're a baller.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's what's
Absolutely.
neat too. Is like even
But it's Mike Iaconelli. So
Yeah, he could do that.
yeah.
carbon fiber handle. Yeah, it's just neat stuff. You know what I mean? And it's funny because as I get different rods to do stuff, I tend to just use the same kind of reels. Like these are the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was looking the other day and I was like, oh, if I do another one, do I do another mic or do I do another just regular STX? Because I get in that wanting things to match.
Oh, yeah.
mode, you know what I mean?
I was never that person until that Daiwa matched up with that Legend, and I'm like, this is nice.
Well, I had one of these that was super, super rare that I had gotten in a raffle that was bright orange and black.
Oh, yeah?
And it was super rare, and it was a Swiss one, and you never have them, and I had it sitting around, and a buddy of mine was going muskie fishing with me, and he bought another one of the muskie rods, and it was blue,
Right?
and he picked that orange reel up, and he was like, can I buy this reel from you? And I was like, man, damn. But
Damn.
it looked so cool,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like,
All right.
yeah, fine, you can buy it from me because I mean it was just sitting around. So, it's just really really neat. But that's kind of an idea of some. And I mean I don't know if we really went into too much detail here, but when people ask about what kind of stuff we're using, like I said, this is
That's
maybe
yours.
you would use this. I mean there are some muskie around here, so some guys would muskie fish
Sure.
out here. But for your basic, bass fishing, and then again, but I mean there's plenty of people that just use spinning reels.
Yeah.
I mean that's fine too. I transitioned from spinning reels over to bait casters maybe like 4 years ago, to be honest. It hasn't been a long
Right.
time. And when I first picked it up, I hated it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you have to understand is that there's limitations.
Oh, yeah.
You can't use a bait caster for everything, whereas you can kind of use a spinning reel for everything, except for like it'd be really tough with frogs.
Sure.
But for example, like you can't take this and go throw a small inline spinner.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to get any distance out of it, or it's going to burden us every time.
Right.
So when I first started, I didn't know that, and I was just taking different lures
Yeah.
and having this nightmare of a
Frustration.
time. And I was going through so much line because I was using, not mono. What is this called?
Floral.
Laurel.
Fluoro. I was going through so much of it because I was bird nested so much. I was getting kinks in it.
Yeah.
So I was
And
just
it's done.
changing it and changing it and changing it and changing it and changing it. And then after a while, I realized more about how to set it, because you're setting your tensions. And maybe we'll have a discussion about how to set tensions.
Yeah, I
one day.
think that's a good one.
That actually would be a bad video for me to do at the pond.
Yeah.
And then once you figure out that, sticking to things that are in the right weight category, and it works just fine.
I think that's cool.
And we talked about this today. I did a video just for fun the other day. We went
I heard.
out to the pond and we had some frogs, and we had talked so much about frogs before
Yep.
that I wanted to go out and show this frog being used. And it was getting dark. It was like the perfect time. The whole thing was covered in just weeds and all kinds of stuff and scum. It was the whole pond was basically covered. And we went out there and talked about it and threw it. Just a quick little information video. I don't know. How long was that video, Anna?
Less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, really, really short. And I think we had like 6,000 hits in an hour,
That's crazy.
off of one little video. So maybe we'll do another one of videos like that about how to set tensions.
Yeah, I think
for
that's a
that.
good one.
We are running out of time. So before we run out of time, we do have, and I don't know if we meant to post more online about descriptions of what it was, picture what it was. But with the COVID thing messed up, we still have giveaways going on.
Yep.
So we are giving away.
We're giving away a frog.
We're giving away a frog for the first person that shows us a picture of them catching a fish on a paddle frog.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily have to be one of the ones we show, but it has to be something
Right.
that has a paddle on it.
Yep.
That was one. And then I don't know where we're at as far as YouTube followers, but the goal was to get 100.
Yep, 100. We
And-
give away a legend.
Yeah, we give it. I mean, that's
Or
just-
no, it was a victory.
Oh yeah, we're giving away a victory
victory,
rod.
even
So,
better.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
giving away a very, very nice rod to
And
just.
it doesn't go to the 100th person. It goes
No,
to
no.
anybody who is on the YouTube page at 100.
Yeah, we're gonna pull a random person.
a
Am
random
I
person.
eligible?
You are 100%
Yeah,
eligible.
100%
Are
eligible.
you following it on YouTube?
Can I? Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So if you
This is the
like
way you
and
said it, it made
subscribe
it sound like
YouTube,
you weren't even subscribing.
Yeah.
And like everyone should be subscribing to the
Yeah,
YouTube channel
like and
because once it
subscribe.
hits 100, and then I'll tell you what, once it's 100, that's great, and once it's 200, we'll do something else.
Yeah.
I listen. I got a whole room of fishing stuff over there. I got no shortage of things to give away.
Right.
We will continue to give stuff away. We will continue to do stuff. We plan out a lot of trips that get canceled all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe even in the future, we'll give away slots to go on trips with us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that we're doing.
Speaking of that, so I went fishing this weekend.
You did.
So I know we're coming up on our time, but I wanted to at least get this out there. So I went fishing this weekend, bow fishing, because you were sick and Anna was sick, and it was my wife's birthday, so we went fishing, and we went bow fishing with Ramrod. I don't care who you are, if you've never picked up a bow, which was my wife, if you've never picked up a compound bow, or you're a seasoned vet at deer or whatever. I went out with Travis and his girlfriend and Lindsay. We had a phenomenal time. Professional, just killer. I mean, Travis is 100. He is on 100% all the time. There is either you are full on 100% or completely off, but there's no in between with him. And his girlfriend was phenomenal. Her and my wife sat there and hung out, and she taught her how to shoot the bow. I mean, literally, 5 minutes and she was off shooting. I have not had so much fun in my life than this bow fishing. I mean, I am like all in. It was so much fun, and it's definitely hard in the sense that I'm used to bow hunting for deer. So you set up, you aim, there's no sights. It's all down the arrow, shoot. But when I finally was successful, it was reactionary. You just draw and shoot, and
No bird's nest.
no. And so, and I shot this bow. It's called a Vader, like Darth Vader. It's a complete carbon fiber bow, just and a phenomenal reel that sticks on the end. And holy smokes, I mean, it weighed nothing. You could sit there and shoot that 300, 400 times, and trust me, you probably will. All night long, we stayed out till like 2 a.m. shooting and just had an absolute blast. So I'll tell anybody, if you want something fun to do and you want somebody fun to take you who's incredibly professional, Ramrod is definitely their
So
group.
how would they get a hold of him?
He's got Instagram, he's got Facebook. His website is getting redone right now, so it's down. So you can reach out to him on pretty much any social media platform out there. You'll find him. If not, shoot us something. We're going to post this stuff over on the website, and we'll do something on the.
And then you had also told me he talked a little bit about season. What's coming up? It's what's
Yeah.
next month or
So I found out a little bit more about snakeheads, right? So there's seasons. You can shoot snakeheads pretty much all year, but the best times for shooting snakeheads are in April and October. He said you can come out and just crush them all day long and just have one hell of a good time. I can tell you, I didn't give two craps if I was shooting snakeheads or if I was shooting catfish or whatever. I had the best time, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was. But once you figure it out, everybody who's a deer hunter goes out there and they aim and shoot, and you cannot do that. It's completely reactionary. And once you try to figure it out, once you get it figured out, it's so cool. I mean, just
And
so
the
fun.
only thing more delicious than catfish, Mark,
peanut butter Snickers?
the only thing more delicious, and when I did hear that you had so much angst against catfish, I almost unsubscribed. But snakehead are absolutely delicious.
They are. They're like the best thing ever.
That's what you said. So,
That and peanut butter Snickers.
and Travis said the same thing. Everybody said that
they're
everybody I've talked to.
Snakehead's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm
I will
telling you.
agree with John Moeller that is true.
Jesus.
That they are good.
So, so kind of coming up on one of the things we're talk with Travis. We're gonna try to get out and do an on-site podcast with him. I absolutely
interesting. See how we're
cannot
gonna do
wait
it?
to see how this turns out. But I promise you, once you meet Travis, you're in for a treat. I mean, the guy is just so awesome, and his boat is super professional. He's got some really cool LED lights, and it's a Lowe's custom boat with a pusher fan on it. So.
I want to talk about that next episode a little more too about that.
yeah,
So
well,
that's kind of cool because that was interesting.
Yeah, and he can tell you a lot more about it than I can. So.
And is wiping us out. We gotta go.
Oh,
All right, we are out of time. That is it. John, thank you very much for coming on.
yeah, man. Thanks. It's awesome.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions for John, we can always have his contact information, and you guys can.
How can they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me through the Fish Angler app.
Right.
It's probably the easiest way to, and I would say text, but I'm not going to throw my digits out
Right,
there.
that's cool.
But,
Do you have
Go to the
Instagram
Fish
or any of
Angler
that
app.
other stuff? Or
8675309.
No.
do not give my cell phone out on this.
Nah. So, all right, that's cool, man. But do y'all have Instagram or any of that other stuff?
We are on Instagram also. It's Nova _ Bassins. Nova _ Bass _ Assassins.
All right, cool.
On Instagram.
And we'll have or something put a link. On the
Yeah, we'll
bottom
put all
for
that
you
stuff
guys.
up there for
So
you.
It's like
have that.
650 followers, just saying.
Yeah,
Well,
just saying.
See how many people watched today to watch John Moeller. So
Jesus. But we appreciate you coming in. And,
Thank you.
That flag over there, that's going to be really killer. So
Yeah, Percival Flag Company.
Yeah,
give them a call. Look them online.
yeah, we'll probably have you on again or something sometime soon. We'll figure it
Absolutely.
out. So, all right, well, that's it. Let's wrap it up. Remember,
take somebody fishing.
Yeah, take the kids fishing. That's important. Get the youth out there, and
Absolutely.
that's about it. Unless you got anything else.
Thanks.
John, good. Everybody's
You
good.
I'm good. Shop at Davis Guns and Gear. Tons of St. Croix rods. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Good stuff.
All right. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
You've been listening to The Hunting Quest. No matter how crazy, high tech, or lazy the rest of the country gets, we will always be hunting and fishing. If that's you, you've found your new family. Thanks to our sponsor, Davis Guns and Gear. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. Reach out to us by email at info@thehuntingquest.com. And check us out on Instagram and YouTube at The Hunting Quest. See you next time.